tutorial, we'll be creating this fun Easter tree, complete with paper flowers and Easter egg ornaments. The first thing you'll need to do for this project is find a branch that can look like a tree, and then also a container that you can put it in. I got this cute metal container from Target in the dollar section. It was actually a kit to grow a rose, but I just took that stuff out so I can use it to put the tree inside. Whatever container you use, make sure that it has some weight to it so it won't tip over from the weight of the branch. So once you've found a branch in a container, you'll need to cut the branch down until it's the right height and it will fit well in the container. So here is what my branch ended up looking like. So for the next step, you'll need your container, and you'll also need a block of floral foam. This will be for the tree to go into so it will stay upright in the container. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Then we're just going to take this foam and put it into the container and decide how big it needs to be, and then cut it down to make it fit better. So I'm just going to push this into the container. Once I had an idea of how big it needed to be, I took it back out, and I had marked it with scissors where I felt it needed to be cut off at. So I took that outside and cut that part off. It's easy to cut, but you want to do it outside because it's pretty messy. So I put that back in, and I decided it needed a little more cut off, so it ended up being this size. So I'll take that back out. Since I'm happy with the size, I'm going to go ahead and put hot glue on the bottom. And then I'll just push that into the container to make it more secure. Once that's in place, we can push the branch into the foam. So I'm just going to take this and center it and push it into the center right here. You'll want to set the container down to do this to make sure that you get the tree vertical. I can't show you on camera because of the size of this branch in my camera setup, but I did it off camera, and you can see that I just pushed that branch into the foam block until it reached the bottom of the container. If the weight of the branch is too heavy and you find this being tippy, you can get some small rocks or pebbles and put them around the foam block to weight the bottom of the container. The next step is to take some black Spanish moss or something else that resembles grass or dirt. We're going to be covering up the foam block with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take some hot glue and put it around where I inserted the branch into the foam, just to make sure that's really secure. Then I'm just going to start taking bunches of the moss and gluing it in place on top of the foam. And I'm just going to keep adding it until it's completely covered and you can no longer see the foam. So once everything was covered, I just took some scissors and I went through and trimmed off anything that was sticking up too much. And here is what it ended up looking like. So the next step is to make the paper egg ornaments. I used purple, pink, and blue cardstock for this, and you'll need 8 pieces per ornament. I have both an SVG pattern and a PDF pattern on my blog. Just go to the link in the description and you can get the pattern and use it too. So I'm just going to take each one of those egg shapes and fold it in half. If you're using a cutting machine like a Cricut, you could add a score line down the middle to make this even easier, but you can also fold it by hand. So once you have 8 pieces folded, we're ready to assemble the ornament. So I'm going to take one of these pieces. I'm going to put hot glue on this side. Then I'll take another one of the pieces and line it up and press it in place on top of that. Then I'll put hot glue on the side of that one. Take another piece, line it up, and press it in place. And I'm just going to repeat this process until I've used all 8 pieces. So once you've attached all the pieces, it should look like this, and it will form the egg shape by gluing those last two pieces together. Now I'm going to cut a piece of ribbon to create a hanger. So I found that it works well to use about 4.5 inches of ribbon. Then I'll put a dot of glue on one end of the ribbon and glue the other end to it so it forms a loop like this. Then I'll take the ornament and hold it closed and put glue right here. And I'll press the end of this ribbon into that. Then I'll put glue on that last piece and glue it to the first piece, lining everything up. And that is how you create the egg ornaments. Now these next steps are optional, but I found that I wanted a little more decoration on the tree, so I used my Cricut to cut out these flower shapes. I'll have the patterns again at the link in the description. So I'm going to add some curve to these flowers using a ball stylus. So I'm also using a thick piece of fun foam. I'm just going to put one of the flowers down on that, and I'm going to use this ball stylus, this end right here, and I'll be pressing down to add some curve to the petals. But before I do that, I'm just going to take a Sharpie and I'll add some dots to create a center for this flower. Then I'll take the ball stylus and I'm just going to push down around the petals to create this curved shape. This will be the inside of the flower, so I want this to be curved more. So I'm going to curve it up as much as possible and then press those petals together. Now I'll take another one of the flowers. This will be the outer part of the flower, so I want this to be less curved and more open, so I'm just going to press more lightly. So it looks like this. Then I'll take that center part and it will go on top of the other one like that. So I'll add some glue on the bottom and I'll press that in place. So the flower ended up looking like this, and I'll just repeat that process to create a bunch more of the flowers. Then just go through and attach these wherever you'd like on the branch. I just tried my best to evenly place them around the tree. And I just used hot glue to attach them. And I just repeated this until they were all attached. Next, I'm taking these mini bird nests that came from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to be adding one little nest to the tree because I just thought it was so cute. So I made these eggs out of polymer clay. Feel free to buy eggs if you'd like. Then I just put them in the nest and decided how I wanted them to be arranged. Then I used hot glue to attach each one to the nest. So this is what the nest ended up looking like. And I'm just going to take that and decide where I want it on the tree. I decided to put it on this side because the tree was more sparse on this side and I felt like it needed some more visual weight. So I just put hot glue on the branches where the nest would go and pressed it in place. And that's it for this DIY Easter tree tutorial. If you'd like to see more Easter crafts from my channel, I will put the playlist on screen. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great Easter.